In this video, I will take you through the source code of the Places app that we have seen in the previous videos. Here is the preview of our Places app, which changes responsively as the screen size changes. So here is the source code of our app. This is our main entry point, Places responsive app dot dot, that contains the main function which calls our Places app, and which is a stateless widget that implements a material app widget. And then we have our assets placed in the assets directory. All of the images that are used in this app are present here. And we access these images by going to pubspec.yaml and declaring -assets/images under assets. So it is important to make sure this formatting space stays here. Otherwise, Flutter will throw you error and that it is not able to find your images. And whatever the folder name you use here, this can be assets, this can be images, or this can be anything you want, but you have to provide the same name here. So assets and followed by images. Our Places app contains only two pages, a home page and a place details page. Like this is our home page, and then you tap on any item, it will show a detailed page. And these two pages reuse the widgets that are present here. The Places Details page uses the Place Details widget, and the home page makes use of the Places Gallery widget. And all the data that we need for our app is present in the model. We have place dot dot, which has the class for representing the image, title, and subtitle. And the places data dot dot contains the actual data that will fill each of the place object with the data we need. We use all the images present in our assets images folder, and we have title and subtitle for each of the item here. Now let's go through the code starting from our main entry point, the main method, which calls the Places app. And the Places app is a material app, and its theme is defined with a primary swatch of a deep purple color. Then it has a home page defined here. Our home page is implemented as a stateful widget. The home page state contains a state variable selected place, which we will use to keep track of the currently selected place by the user. Our homepage state has a build method which implements three types of layouts. So our build method calls media query method, media query.off, using the context, and then based on the media query size information returned, the get screen size will decide what is the screen size depending on the breakpoint ranges we have defined here. So the get screen size method will tell us whether the current app window size is a small screen or a medium size or a large size. And based on that, we will build either a small layout or a medium layout or a large layout. So here we have the code for homepage small, homepage medium, and homepage large. Even though all the code is present in single file here, you can also move these widgets into separate files, which will make it easier as the code size of this homepage file grows larger. And the app bar simply contains the text that we are showing in the title place, and the drawer body contains the code for the navigation menu that we show on to the side. So let's go through each of these methods. Homepage small. So the homepage small contains a scaffold widget implementation which has an app bar, a drawer, and a body. So this app bar shows up the title, and this drawer implements a child called drawer body, which is our own method. The drawer body contains a list view which is building a drawer header and a list title. We can see this drawer here. When you tap on this icon, it shows the header here. This is the header part that we can see here, and the remaining items are implemented as list tiles. And the body of our home page small itself is implemented as a grid view scrolling vertically. The places gallery widget here implements the grid view. Now let's take a look at other methods. Let me minimize this guy so you can see what's going on here clearly. So we queried the media query, which gives us the size, and we read its width, and the get screen size tells us what is the screen size like. Is it small, medium, or large? We just had a look at homepage small structure. Now let's look at homepage medium. The homepage medium is also implemented as a scaffold widget containing an app bar, and it contains a row as a body. Let's see it here. As we resize the window, at some point it crosses the first breakpoint range 600 and reveals the navigation menu. So here in the homepage medium, we have a row representing the body, and the row contains drawer body as the first item, and the places gallery as the second item. Notice that we are reusing the same method, the drawer body that we have used for our home page small as well. And similarly, we are reusing the places gallery widget that we have used in the home page small. Now let's take a look at the home page large as well. So the home page large contains a scaffold widget implementation containing an app bar and a row, similar to the medium screen. Now it also has two children with different flex factors. Let's see it here. As we increase the medium size screen, at some point it will cross the 840 dp and it will enter a large layout. So it just crossed the 840 dp, and now we can see the horizontal gallery coming up here, and the detail view pan also shown up here. As you can see, the row is highlighted in the blue color here, and it is containing two children. The first one is our side navigation drawer, and the second child is containing a container that contains again two children, our grid gallery, our horizontal grid gallery, and place details. Now let's take a look at this container code. So this container is made up of a column containing two children, two expanded widgets, one with a flex factor of 1, another with a flex factor of 2. As you can see, this total height here is divided into 3 parts, and one part is occupied by our horizontal grid gallery, and the 2 parts is occupied by the place details widget. And the places gallery is now made to be shown as a horizontal grid view. So for that we pass this property as true. Now let's jump into places gallery. The places gallery is a stateless widget that builds a grid view, and based on the property show horizontal grid view, it will show either a horizontally scrolling grid or a vertically scrolling grid. So in this case here, it will show a horizontally scrolling grid by setting the axis as horizontal. This variable axis direction we are further passing to the grid view that we are building here. And the other case is the vertical direction, where when this property value is false, we set the axis direction as vertical and the item count as 2, so that 2 columns will appear in the vertical grid view. So here, this is a small layout where it is a vertically scrolling grid view that has 2 columns, and this is the medium layout, which is also showing the same vertically scrolling grid view. Whereas when we come to the large layout, Now the grid view, we are passing the show horizontal grid view property as true, so it results in a horizontally scrolling grid view. The places gallery grid items are built using the method the grid items. Grid items method simply fetches the list of places. These list of places are coming from the class places that we have kept with all the data that we need for our app. Once we get the list of place objects, the map method iterates through each of these place objects, and a grid item widget is built for each of the place object. And then all the grid items that are built are converted into a list, and this list of grid items is finally returned by the grid items method to the grid view as its children. Now let's look into the implementation of the grid item itself. The grid item is implemented as a card, and this card is further implemented as an inkwell widget as its child, and inkwell widget will provide us with the touch feedback whenever you tap on the item, and this contains a grid tile as a child. This grid tile contains a footer object, and this where using which we can provide our title and subtitle values, and also set a background. So this results in a grid item with the footer here, okay, with the background and a title and a subtitle. And then we have the image, the actual picture here as an ink image widget. So whenever you tap any of these grid items, we receive a callback in the onTap method of the grid item. And depending upon the current screen size, we decide whether to navigate to the place details page, or simply to update the details page here. So if we are in a if we are in a small or medium layout, whenever you tap on the grid view item, we will navigate to the place details page. Otherwise, if you are on a large layout, whenever you tap on any item, instead of navigating to the place details page, we simply show the place details widget here. But how does our grid view pass the selected place details to the place details widget? It cannot communicate directly. There is no direct link with the place details widget. So someone has to take responsibility for taking the details of the selected place, and pass that information to the place details widget. So because of that, we have our home page widget implemented as a stateful widget, and it keeps track of the selected place. And so whenever the grid item is tapped, the grid item, the grid view will give a callback to our home page using a handle place changed. If you have observed, this handle place changed is a method, is a function callback that is being passed to our grid view, and this has been passed from the grid view to the grid item as a input argument. Let's go back and see where it is coming from. So the places gallery receives a handle place changed, that same argument, and whenever we call the places gallery from the home page, this argument is passed, and in the home page we have this function actually defined here. So whenever user taps on the grid item here, a callback is received by the home page in this method called handle place changed with the new place details, and we simply update the new place details to the selected place variable, the state variable that we have here, And since we are calling the setState method here, it will trigger the rebuild of the home page widget. So it will call the build method again, and now we have the selected place containing the new place details instead of the default place value, which is the default thing comes from the get places, and it will by default select the first item here. Okay, and now since we have the new place selected, when it is building the layout, whether it is a home page small, medium, or large, and in our case it is building a large layout. And the large layout contains the place details as one of its child widget, and this will now show up with the new place details. So what we have done here is we have assigned the responsibility of keeping track of the new place selected by the user to our home page widget. And the home page widget will rebuild the screen whenever the set state has been called, and effectively setting the new place details. When it is building the home page large layout, it passes the newly selected place as an input to our place details widget. Let's next take a look at the place details widget. The place details is a stateless widget that is built using a layout builder. This, as you understand, the layout builder will give you a callback to the builder method every time there is a change in the app window size, and it will pass us with the constraints that are available to our widget. Based on these constraints, now we can build either a large widget or a small widget. So in our case here, we are building a large widget because it has more than 600 dp width available for our widget. Now let's take a look at the implementation of our large widget. So the large widget layout is implemented as a single child scroll view because this content needs to be scrollable. Sometimes the images can be bigger, or sometimes the content here can go larger than the height available. So we need to make it scrollable. The single child scroll view contains a card widget as its child, and the card is this whole layout, and then the card itself is implemented as a row as its child. So this row has two children. So one is the one in highlighted in blue color, and the second child is the one highlighted in green color. So the first child is an expanded widget which contains a column as its child, and this column is containing again multiple children in the vertical direction. As you can see here, we have an image here that corresponds to this image, and a title section that is going to show this title, subtitle, and star and 41 here. And then the second child, this is also implemented as a column containing multiple children in the vertical direction, and it has a buttons section that implements these buttons, and followed by the next child containing a text. Let us now take a look at the small widget version of the place details widget. So here we have the large widget and small widget. Let's jump into small widget. Small widget is implemented as a list view with containing multiple children. You could also implement the same as a single child scroll view containing say a single child as a column, and then that column can contain multiple children with the same code here. This small widget version will be shown when our app is showing a small layout, and when you tap an item, it shows up this small widget version because it does not have a larger width available. As you can see here, our list view has 4 children. The first one is an image, and the second one is a title section showing this section of the layout. And then the third one is a button section showing these 3 buttons. And the fourth one is the text section showing the text at the bottom. Now you know how the place details widget has been implemented in a large widget and a small widget version. Notice that we are using the same places widget whether we are at home page or whether we are showing the detailed page here. So this place details widget is used in home page as well as place details page. Here is the code for the place details page, which is a stateless widget, and it is being passed the currently selected place as its input, and it is built as a scaffold widget containing an app bar, and it uses the place details widget we just gone through as its body. So here, whenever the app window size changes, our place details widget changes from the small widget to the large widget as it has more width available now. Our app navigates to place details page on medium and small layouts. On the large layout, however, because we show the place details widget directly, we don't navigate to the place details page at all. So whether we navigate to place details page or we simply update the place details widget here is decided by the grid view grid item. Because whenever we tap on this grid item, we receive the callback in the grid items on tap method. So this is the code for the grid item that we have previously gone through, which is built inside the grid gallery. So this grid item contains the on tap method, which simply gets the current screen width using the media query, and we call the get screen size method to tell us whether we are dealing with a small size or a medium size screen or a large size screen. If it is a small or medium size screen, then we navigate to place details page. Otherwise, we simply call the callback method that we have defined in our home page and update the newly selected place details. And then our home page will trigger a rebuild because we call this method and we invoke the set state method here. Our home page will be built again. So now with that, we have gone through the source code of the Places app, and you now know how to build a responsive app using the media query widget and layout builder widget. And finally, here is how our Places responsive app looks on a mobile and a tablet and on the desktop.